Welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast. My name is Ian Ray, your host for today. And today I have Joe Watson from Nashville, Tennessee. Joe, welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right. Before I ask you, your story, how did you come with the name Average Joe? Because that's such a generic thing, but it just fits so smoothly with you. Average Joe stretching. That's so smooth, dude. How did you come up with it?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of people watching, I turn 25 tomorrow. So people my age and a little older know the movie Dodgeball. It's a classic. So a little bit from there, but also I knew that being in Nashville it's really easy to run into famous people or athletes. I mean, we have some of the best sports market out here. We've got the Titans, Major League Baseball's coming in, the Predators, country music in general. It's just Nashville, the spot to be for a lot of things. I knew coming into it that I would want to work with a very wide array of people, famous, not famous, the everyday average Joe, but it just felt right to make my name that, because if anybody's going to make fun of my name, it's going to be me. So, I mean, growing up, everyone's just that everyday average Joe. And I would always chime in and be like, easy, and then just pop out of the conversation. No, the inspiration really came from giving the, athletes or country music artists their sense of dignity back. I mean, in FST, it's very personable, individualized, and it's one-on-one. So I knew coming out here that I would run into those people and get to, work with them through FST. And I never wanted to ask for anything, whether that was one of my Titans guys or one of my country music artists. I'm here to help you feel better, fight your chronic pain, help you move better, help recovery. But I'm not here to ask you for tickets or a hookup or to go do that. I just want to work with people. And at the end of the day, everyone's going to move differently, but I wanted to give people their sense of dignity back.
Okay. And that's where Average Joe Stretching was born.
Yep. Let everyone kind of feel like an average Joe, whether you are an average Joe or whether you're, at the top of your game, country music, athletics, whatever. Treat everybody the same.
Gotcha. And where are you from originally, since you just moved here a year ago?
Yeah, so I'm originally from right outside of Knoxville, a little town called Maryville, Tennessee, or Maryville, Tennessee. Yeah.
Depending on how you pronounce it.
Yeah, people always make fun of me being from East Tennessee. They're like, Merville? It's spelled M-U-R? I'm like, no, it's Maryville, but we've gotta put the little East Tennessee twist on it. And then moved up to Bristol for my undergrad, so northern East Tennessee. And then moved out to Nashville in June of 2023.
Okay, cool. So basically, just born and bred, live in Tennessee, and now you're gonna. Yeah. Okay.
Tennessee through and through. That's why I wore this hat today. Gotta represent the state.
And I'm a Bama fan, so go Roll Tide. So
we can get into that later.
So, dude, so you went to undergrad. What was your major?
So I was in exercise science with a track in kinesiology, a minor in psychology, and then I got my COVID year back as well as another red shirt. So I went back to MBA, Master's in Business Administration, and then came out to Nashville and just kind of started Average Joe's.
So how did Stretch to Win? When did that all play out? Did you meet someone who went to Stretch to Win? Did you find it? What's the story?
Yeah, so I actually worked with a level 3 sports specific. It's he was way before they even thought about level 4, or not thought about, but before they had level 4, he had been out here many, many moons ago. So I worked with him in the off season of college, right outside of Knoxville. He is right on the edge. So it was a 20-minute drive for me, and started working with him. And, I grew up going to chiropractors, PTs, had tried dry needling and everything. And on Trace Pate, he's one of my best friends now and a great mentor. Worked with him a lot as a client, also as a practitioner. kind of trading off stretches and teaching each other stuff. But yeah, started working with him, I want to say my sophomore year of college, so like 2019. And then I actually got injured. I'm trying to think. I'd overthrown and I'd strained my lat pretty bad. I think the docs had said it was like a grade two, kind of on the edge of grade three strain. So I was in probably 10 or 11 weeks of physical therapy with my athletic trainers at King, and just nothing was getting better. I was always very in tune with my body. And so as we were making the plan in the athletic training room with a couple of the different ATs, I was like, I think I need to get a second opinion. And so went to the doctor. She was like, anatomically, everything looks good. Just let it rest. So went to my coaches and was like, hey, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm just a bump on a log at practice right now. I'm holding the radar gun. Could barely pick my arm up to like 90 degrees. So I was like, can I please just have a weekend off from practice to go home, work with my guy, and I promise within 2 weeks I will be back and better than ever. And they're like, yeah, I mean, at this point, like you gotta do what you gotta do. So I went home on a Friday night after practice. I worked with Mr. Trace Saturday afternoon and Sunday morning before I went back to King, and went to practice on Monday. Was a little finicky about whether or not I should try, but I was like, you know what? If it still hurt, it still hurt. Started throwing, everything felt fine. Got back up on the mound and was throwing 100%. And that's when I really, really bought in.
Dang. So were you a pitcher?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right on, man. Righty or lefty?
Unfortunately.
Right.
So
Okay.
I had to try to throw hard and could never get over that bump to try to make it to the next level.
Dang, dude. So just over that couple days that you were with Mr. Trace, that kind of changed your life. Like, dang, this FSD thing, it helped me to get from injured to now back on the mat.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I never looked back.
Dang, dude. And then of course, knowing him, did you just like went to go enroll in the course, the Stretch to Win course, like right away, or like how long did it take you to like enroll?
So, and that's where we kind of like get into the deeper part of the story. After I finished my MBA, or kind of while I was in my MBA, I was just lost. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was kind of delaying the inevitable of the real world. I mean, I had that year of eligibility left in baseball, so I was like, I mean, if I can get a master's in business, like I'm 100% going to take it. While I was going through it, was taking class, really thought that I was going to love the business world and everything. And when I originally moved out to Nashville, I took a sales role as an account executive for a company downtown, and realized very, very quickly that I could not just sit behind a desk all day and do it. Cold calling and, just like all the kind of salesy things.
Yeah.
I was actually sitting at work one day in like our skyscraper in downtown Nashville, and someone had like asked me a question, I think, and I turned my head and a nerve pinch or something, but I was nauseous, achy, like basically locked long on this side and like couldn't move my neck. And everyone was like, take the rest of the day and go home, like take a PTO day. I was like, I'm good. So I I'd come home, and my fiance, my girlfriend at the time, was like, you need to go get this worked on. She was like, go find a chiropractor. And my head immediately goes to, well, I'm going to look up an FST practitioner. So I called Trace. He put me onto the Stretch to Win website, and I typed in find a practitioner. Had called a local person here in Nashville and was like, can you get me in? She was like, I am absolutely booked, which
Mhm.
was no surprise. She was like, I'm absolutely booked, but let me send you some of my at home FST stuff that I like send to clients. And I was like, perfect. So woke up the next morning after I'd done all this stuff. It released. I felt great. I had to go to a wedding that day. And then over the next couple of weeks, again, I was absolutely miserable just sitting behind a computer screen all day. So it was a really hard conversation with my parents, but I was like, I think I want to take the chance. and get certified in FST and come back to Nashville and do it. And they were unbelievably supportive. So I went in, I'm trying to think. So that was a conversation on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I went in Monday and gave this company my 2 weeks notice, and they were like, you know what, you're good. I was like, oh, okay, sounds all right.
Yeah,
So
sounds like a corporate America job.
I guess. So, came back home, immediately signed up, and actually spent an entire month jobless, just studying for FST, reading all the books, watching all the videos. Went out at I believe it was the 1st of September in 2023, and haven't looked back since.
Yeah, that's a whirlwind from
Yeah.
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 Yeah, yeah, man. I think, and that's the cool part about FST is like whenever I've been doing this podcast is like it's so crazy like the stories I hear from people about how they found stretch to win because like different backgrounds, man, like different scenarios, like it just like for myself, like I found it through because I was doing assisted stretching at a physio clinic. And that kind of led me down to this rabbit hole of like, okay, I got to do this properly in the correct way where I can get proven results. And then I found someone online on social and I was like, what's that strap? What's stretch to win? And then that kind of led down the rabbit hole. So I never had met anyone that was doing FST here locally. It was kind of my own thing of finding it. And then I just happened to found it and I was like invested because I just saw how cool it was. I just saw how like there were people actually doing this and I was like, okay. So it's amazing, man. Like that trajectory of college. Yeah, I mean, I think people can agree. Like you're in that state. Like, what's next for me in my life? Especially if you're like athletic. You're like, I want to do something that's um, challenging because like you're always in practice. You're always
Yeah.
doing something. You're always on the road. Like so, just that mundane, like behind the desk. I've been there, man. I've done sales roles where you're like, is this really my life for 20 years behind the desk making calls? Like I don't know. It just didn't fit right with me. So I totally empathize with you.
Yeah. No, it's nice to like, especially in FST, like,
Mm.
you're right. Like there are so many backgrounds. I mean, you go out to class and it's chiropractors and PTs and OTs and trainers and, people like me where it's just like, I need something to start. And it's
Mhm.
just, and God has just put his hand on me from the time I stepped out in Chandler, Arizona, and it's just been like, you know what? We're gonna start here and see what happens. And I've just totally put my faith in him and been like, you know what, you've got me. And there have been so many God winks of just like, dude, you're doing the right thing. I'm gonna make you struggle, but I got you. So it's been a really, really cool experience.
What are some of the moments that you felt like this is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing it. Have you ever had those moments in your FSC time? You're like, dang, this is why I've been meant to do this FSC type of.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've always, and like Chris and Ann, as soon as you get out there, or like even Kevin, I'm sure he talked about when you went up to Canada, like there's something about FST that is very empathic, and you kind of take on the emotional load of the people that you work with. And sometimes that can be really hard, but there was just something my entire life where I just had that personality and that gift of hearing people and feeling them and understanding kind of what was going on. And I knew as soon as I stepped in, I was like, this is different. And I mean, there's no environment like Stretch to Win.
So you never had any hesitancy going into the course whatsoever, or like initial thoughts, like because you were kind of already sold based off of that incident that you had on the mat.
Yeah, totally. I mean, totally sold on at least doing it when I was an athlete, or I knew like if I ever got hurt doing something dumb out here, working out, wakeboarding, anything like that,
Uh-huh.
I was like, if I ever need to get like worked on or body work, I'm going FST. That's it. I know it'll take 1 or 2, maybe 3 sessions to get things going and recovered, and then I'll be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was absolutely there was fear for sure. I mean, starting my own business at 23 years old, absolutely terrified, absolutely had second thoughts. But I knew as soon as I came back and started building out a clientele that there was no way I was ever going to look back.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. That's yeah, especially at that young age, you're like thinking like, corporate route, you're like secure on making salary, but this is a totally different beast, man. Especially from, I mean, Nashville, it's such a big place that you can get lost easily. You're small fish in a big pond, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I guess for me, I would love to see, maybe people who are listening to this type of podcast where they're looking to do FST. What are some things as far as you can tell them, like if they're on the fence about it, like what would you say to them as far as like enroll into the, yeah, what would you tell them? Like, let's say like, cause like for myself, like, there were times where I was like, I wasn't sure about it because I didn't have any personal connection to someone who went like yourself. I'm just an outside guy who just heard about it, but I was hesitant because I was like, never heard of them, but I had to do my research. But, someone was on the fence. What would you tell them as far as like enroll into the course?
Take the leap. Absolutely take the leap. Um, I guess when for instance, yesterday I went and worked just like a pop up at one of the gyms out here in Nashville, and I'm a very social butterfly, so I'm not afraid to just get out there and talk at all.
Mhm.
But just setting up at a gym and people. I stretched like one or two of the trainers when I like first set up. I was like, "Hey, thanks for helping me out getting set up here. Let me work on you for like 5 or 10 minutes." And they're like, "Okay, sweet." So then people start to cycle through the gym. A couple people come up and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Let me show you." It's not a say thing. Like it's not a show and tell. It's a tell and then show. And the tell is it's hard. I mean, it's just indescribable. You break it down for people until you put hands on them. And then they get off the table and they're like, "Who are you?" And that's every practitioner, every practitioner.
Yeah, it's definitely get on the body on the table and just let me show you. That's definitely what we.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like because it's not like anything else. Maybe you go to a stretch lab or stretch zone. You've heard of it, but as far as fascia stretch therapy, this type of modality, it. I guess the results you just don't get the same. Because I've gone through stretch zones and stretch labs myself, and had them work on me, but just not like you say, it's you just don't feel afterwards or even during the sessions. It's a different surreal feeling, man.
Yeah.
And so like for myself, well, that's what I guess my aha moment when I was doing my courses, like, dang, I've never had someone work on my hip so well because I've always have weak left hip. It's just bad. So that's where I get tight. So when someone, when I went to the course, that's when I was like, yeah, this is probably impactful for anyone, even an average person like me. Another question for you, man. What are some wins or success stories that you have to share of how FSD has helped some of your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess one of my favorite, and it's like past, present, and future. One of my clients out here in Nashville, kind of same thing. She walked up one day when I was doing a pop up at a boxing gym here, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, give me 5 minutes." Chronic back pain. She was going to get cortisone shots like every 3 to 6 months, which is like a whole thing. Sounds miserable. I've never had to deal with that, but I totally empathize with her. I was like, I know what it's like to have to just keep going back and keep going back. So she laid down for 5 minutes, got her hips and her back to open up. And she was like, "I think I need to see you 30 minutes every single week." And I was like, perfect. I was like, honestly, it's only going to take either 1 to like 4 or 5 sessions. It's really up to your body. And kind of went through that whole spiel and everything. And that happened, I want to say December of 2023. And every week since, like when I send out my text Thursday and Friday to set up my schedule, she's on me like white on rice. I mean, like she doesn't miss. And anytime I've had to go out of town for recertification or vacations, I mean, I get chewed out. She is not happy when I have to go out of town. But she's not had to go back and get any cortisone shots since we've started working together. So that's been one of my favorite success stories while doing FST.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, because cortisone shots, they're expensive.
Yeah.
Two, they're just not, your body's just not meant to take that much type of injections. I mean, unnaturally, like, yeah, your body's not meant to do that if it's not necessary. So that's why I think that's great with FSC, because it's a natural, this is, your body in movement, healing itself.
Yeah.
How about fascia? I'm sure like you, like myself, when you do pop-up events, you have to explain to people like who you are, what you do, because you can tell them like, I just stretch people, but they're like, okay, what's so different about you? You stretch people, but no, but then you have to explain to people what fascia. So give us a quick analogy, like how you explain to people what you do and what fascia is.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to go down the science road, but I also know that people do not like anatomy and physiology lectures, including myself. Ironic because I'm going back to school. But the way I kind of describe it to them is, you've got, let's take a steak. You got a ribeye laid out right in front of you, cooked medium rare, perfect, right? So you've got the fatty stuff on this side, and then you got the red meat on this side. But what about all the stuff in the middle between that looks like a spider web? Nobody really wants to eat it. So if it's broken, then you can get around it and cut it a lot better. That's what fascia is. And then I'm sure you've probably seen it too, is, well, like, how from a stretch lab or just a general stretch versus FST can you get that to open up? So my best analogy, especially in Nashville, is our traffic's bad. It just is. It's the worst. Probably not LA bad, but it's up there for sure. So the best way I describe to get it released is, if I'm driving from here to East Tennessee to go home and see my parents, the traffic starts at the airport. I mean, that's just like the hub of where people have to go every single day. So the
Mhm.
tension here at the airport. But when I'm driving east to go back home, I'm sitting in traffic in downtown Nashville, and I'm actually looking at the highway right now. Like, it's already backed up, and it's not even, it's 11:30 here. Like, it's miserable. So you feel the tension here in downtown Nashville, but the root of the problem is actually 25 minutes east at the airport. So if we can somehow get the tension to release at the airport at point A, then point B is going to feel much, much better.
Mm. That's that bad, huh? 25 minutes away to feel
Yeah.
that traffic.
Yeah. And I mean,
That's
like,
ridiculous.
going through sessions and everything, it's like you go through all of your assessments, you go through rolling out the hips and, going across the body to try to get the fascia to release there. You
Mhm.
can you can kind of get everything warmed up, so then when you do find that tension spot, you just have to give it a little TLC. Like, where it's coming from, or the practitioner does, but the client, sometimes it's like, man, I really feel it right here, and I feel like this needs to be dug out and released and this and that. And then I go work on the bottom of the foot if they have like a hip or a lower back problem, and then
Mhm.
I go back to the hip opener and they're like, why does that move so much better? Again, the hip or the airport is where it's all like, or sorry, I've got myself switched up there. You feel it in your hip. So that's
Mhm.
downtown. The hip is downtown Nashville. The foot is the airport. And we need the foot to release or relax in the subconscious so that the hip feels 100% better.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Definitely. I think level three, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can learn, which I'm eager to once I get there. But especially the foot, I think that's very important, that people probably overlook. How about as far as for you, how do you find your new clients? Is it word of mouth? Do you do social media? Do you What is it like? How do you find your typical new client?
Yeah, I mean, word of mouth is definitely the best. I'm sure you heard it from Kevin up there is, the right people find the right people. So when I get word of mouth, that is my absolute favorite because I know that a client has said something about it and they've told the right person or the right people. I also do a lot of Instagram marketing, just kind of making my own silly videos, kind of putting my own spin on it. So, I get them from like certain stretches from books or from other Instagram reels or when TikTok was a thing. Well, I guess it still kind of is from there. So, kind of getting ideas and then going back to some of my videos or like the life stretch videos and putting that FST spin on it.
Mm.
Just giving people at home remedies. I mean, the best thing, and all my buddies have even said in Bristol and in Knoxville, is like, man, I do your stretches all the time because I'm looking down. So I've got computer neck, or like my lower back
Yeah.
is so messed up. My cousin was doing 75 hard at one point, and he was like, I just cannot get my knees to be okay. And I was like, awesome. Let me make a video about it. And I got you. So I'll make a video kind of on the fly, get it posted that night or that day. And even people out here in Nashville is like, they'll see my videos and be like, it's crazy that if I can do some of the at-home stuff that have the FST and the average Joe's spin on it, what's 30 minutes on a table going to be like?
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean a lot of word of mouth, but also Instagram. Used to be a little TikTok before all that stuff went down.
Uh-huh.
But no, I mean, just like, and again, like I'm not afraid to talk. Like I've been to Predators games and networked. I've been to Titans games and networked with people. Like restaurants, it doesn't matter. I'll talk to a brick wall and have the best conversation ever.
Yeah, I think that's a missing piece, especially being a small business owner. Is you have to go out and walk and talk to humans to spread. Great it is with social media to reach that broader audience. I think just your local in your community, especially. I mean, people got to know who you are, what you do. So that introduction, that old school introduction handshake. Of course, the demos just kind of give people to know what it is that you. Yeah, Instagram. Definitely, I love doing my reels and showing the people what I do, but I think it's better for someone to have that experience so that they can tell someone, and then that person can tell another. It just kind of that's cool though that you like to use Instagram to market, because that's it's a missing piece sometimes for small business owners is using Instagram.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, I have so many different things on Instagram that it's definitely not like Google or like working with a marketing team where they can, get your, I forget like what the analogy is, but like where someone types in like Nashville massage or Nashville FST and like your name is the first to pop up. But,
Mhm.
with the market, especially here in Nashville, where it is that younger crowd, and then you have that older crowd out in Franklin or Lebanon or Dixon County or any of that stuff, you've still got it out there, but you can type in certain hashtags or you can throw money towards like a certain post that it gets boosted. So like my first post, I think I put like $30 for like 5 days. And I think my first video got almost 10,000 views. And then I just kind of let it rock. And then sometimes what I'll do is see how a post does. And then like a couple days post it, throw some money towards it. So then it gets boosted even more. And the algorithm just hits a couple more people that are on that health side of Instagram.
Okay. Have you gotten some clients out of those posts and boots?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Really?
And they have like certain tools on there where it's like, we want this to lead to like someone to contact you or go to your page and look at more posts and stuff like that. I mean, definitely geared towards influencers and stuff. I'm the most mediocre influencer you're ever gonna meet.
Uh,
Just because I'm so goofy and like I'm not crazy about it. But no, Instagram has been really good to just like get the word out there. I mean, the support from back home, the support out here with family and friends in the Nashville area. And like once that starts to boost, like and your friends watch it and then they rewatch it, or a couple weeks later, they're like, man, I need a refresher of how that stretch works or what it feels like. And then it just boosts the algorithm. So then more people in the area start to see it.
okay. Cool. Going back to the life stretch, so you got life stretch sometime during from after level one, or some level two.
Yeah.
Was that solely so that you can give homework to clients, or was that kind of more of an interest, like, hey, I'm going to probably do some workshops or classes? I guess what was your
I've not,
reason?
so I've not done any workshops or classes yet. I really did it for, I guess, marketing purposes. But yeah, like to give homework to people, I mean, they just totally appreciate it. Like, because we'll say I have like an hour long session with somebody. I'll spend another 15 minutes of my own time, just like, hey, between now and the next time we see each other, whether that's this week, next week, or a month from now, or even 6 months from now,
Mhm.
like do these at home and I promise you that it will keep you from having to coming to see me over and over and over again. So but I also use a lot of the life stretch stuff for my Instagram just so I have that knowledge of how can I put the FST spin on stuff that I see from other influencers or online or from books or whatever.
That's cool. That's a different perspective, man. Like I've never seen someone do that yet on FST. So yeah, kudos to you.
Thank you.
What's some of your long-term goals that you have for your business with Average Joe Stretch?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to say take it global. I don't know how that's going to work, but I guess we'll find out as we kind of go down that road. So I was actually home for, I'm trying to think, Memorial Day. And one of my like old life coaches and mentors and my parents we're all just like hanging out by the pool and they're like, "Have you thought about chiropractic school?" And I was like, "You know what? I'll throw my name in the hat and kind of figure it out." So I came back. My fiance had to work on Memorial Day, so I just spent the day kind of researching and seeing where we might be able to go. And she's from Chesterfield, Missouri, where Logan Chiropractic School is. And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna apply here," and prayed about it and was like, God, I'm going to apply to one school. And if I don't get in, I know FST is the only thing, which honestly, even though that I'm going back to school, it totally is. But I am stoked for chiropractic because it'll open up a whole new realm of working with clients.
Yeah.
So applied, and the next day I was coming out of working with one of my track athletes and I get a call from a guy up at Logan. He was like, "Hey, would love to talk for 10 minutes." And just like took me about and was like, "Can you give me 30 minutes and then you've got me for as long as you need me?" So I got back home, settled in, called him back. 10 to 15 minutes turns into an hour and a half. And I kind of told him the story of being a college athlete, moving out here, doing the corporate thing, starting Average Joe's. And he was like, "Oh my God, who are you?" So he was like, "Get your transcripts sent over. Let's do this. As soon as we can have another meeting about admission, like, I'm going to try to put you at the top of the list for talking about you." And I was like, "Sweet." So I was like a fly or like a pest in his ear, like a little gnat every single week. "Hey, man, have you all had that meeting yet?" "No, not yet." "All right, awesome. I'll call you next week." "Okay, sounds good." Next week. "Hey, man, have y'all had that?" Like,
Using those sales skills.
oh, yeah, had to. I know the NBA really came into play for that one. So they called me while I was on vacation,
Mhm.
or I called him while I was on vacation on like a Tuesday. And I was like, "Hey, same thing. Hey, man, you guys had that meeting yet?" He was like, "We are having it on Thursday. I will call you." And I was like, "Sounds good. If I don't hear from you, I'll call you next week." So he calls me on Thursday and told me that I got accepted to Logan Chiropractic in Chesterfield, Missouri. So we will be moving up. I start school in May and then just kind of stuck in school and learning chiropractics just so I can like that's the thing about this and too is like I want to be able to put hands on as many people as I can, help as many people as I can, and it's totally a service industry and there's no more fulfillment than someone getting off the table and being like, "What have you just done?" And it's awesome. So I felt like going back to chiropractic school was the right next step. So I'm really excited to start that.
Dang, dude. That's crazy. Well, awesome, man. That's awesome. So how long is it? How long is the school?
I think it's like 3 years and 4 months, close to 4 years. So I turn 25 tomorrow, so I'll finish school in December of 2028 and then turn 29 the next month.
All right. Cool, man. Well, hey, dude, that's crazy. Chiropractor, yeah. The background, started a business, dude. Like that's a lot, man.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
no, I have found out since I've started Average Joe's that the comfortable is nice, but
Mhm.
uncomfortable is where I'm comfortable.
Yeah, complacency is not fun sometimes.
Ooh,
Just being
totally not.
normal. No, no. Um, dude, that's awesome. So yeah, how far is that from where you're at in Nashville to the school?
It's about 5-ish hours, like 5.5. So it's not too bad. And then my parents still live in East Tennessee, and my grandfather lives in Middle Tennessee. So it's far enough, but close enough-ish that I'll be able, like, if I ever need to come home or want to come home or go see my grandpa, that I'll be able to get back in a day's time.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Sweet. Yeah. I work at a chiro, so I understand totally how that goes hand in hand, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah.
How do you see fascia stretch therapy evolving in the future? Like, you've been doing this for 2+ years, and Stretch to Win's been around for 30, but in your eyes, where do you see FST going?
To the moon. I mean, they've already taken it global. They've got a school in Canada. They're going to Australia, or did their first Australian class in 2024. I mean, I just don't see it not growing. I mean, I could see them being in England or wherever Chris and Ann want to go. I mean,
Mhm.
it's just something that when it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it's global, that the world is totally going to change.
It's from the time that you started Average Joe to now. How did you grow your business? You moved from, Bristol, and then now you moved to Nashville, not knowing anyone. So what was it that made you, have a good start from year one till year two?
Community. I mean, community is everything, especially when you find those, again, like what I said earlier, like the right people always find the right people, and not being afraid. And this is especially for like young kids coming out of college, whether that's, you want to do body work like FST or massage, or you want to be an entrepreneur. It's really about shaking hands, showing face, showing up. You have to get out there. You can't be scared. And I was terrified the first day that I went out and was like, "Hey, I'm Joe. Here's what I do. You have 15 minutes." And then 15, if they said yes, 15 turned into 30 or an hour, because you just you get lost in the flow.
Mhm.
But no, I mean, just like that sense of community and the fulfillment of actually helping people, where it's like, I'm not going to go in for, you know, X, Y, and Z and feel bad in 3 or 4 hours. Like, I'm going to spend 30 minutes to an hour with average Joe, get off the table, and I'm going to be good for the next week, month, year, whatever. I mean, like, I've had clients where, I text them periodically and they're like, "Hey, man, I'm great right now. Love that you're reaching out. If anything pops up, would love to like chat." Completely get that. But I know that from the session that I saw them, that it truly did help, and that they can live their life and have that sense of dignity back of like, I don't have to take 45 minutes to get out of bed just because my back hurts.
Yeah, that's so true. Uh, Dude, that's a lot, man. That's a lot we went through. So I guess my last question, business side, would be, you probably covered this already, but what marketing or what marketing or sales strategies have you found most effective in growing your business? Has it just been just like word of mouth and Instagrams, the boot?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Instagram boosts, like if we're going to take it from like the social media side of things or websites and stuff, especially right now, just because we are moving out of Nashville, I've just not found that a website might be helpful for now. I know that later on that will for sure be one of my top investments of having a good website so that it's easier for people to book with me. It's automated, everything's in there, and we've got it set. But yeah, I mean, word of mouth has been great, because as soon as you get someone like, "Hey, I talked to this average Joe and they said that you are the guy to come to," or like FST, like, "I found another practitioner, like, should I go to them?" Percent. Like, please go do it.
Which practitioners, I'm just curious, which practitioners in your area have you connected or have you found over?
Yeah, so I actually was talking with my mentor back home and found a guy named Randy Height out here. He lives in like Mount Juliet, and just got connected. I think they had been at like level one together way back when FST was like just on like the starting, like the beaten path. So connected with him out here, and we would talk, FST and fascia philosophy and everything, and how good it's been. So I actually met him in November, December. But like, just a phone call every once in a while is great too, just to be like, "Hey man, like I've got this case with this client, like have you ever had this before? what have you found that really helps? And just like talking to him has been great. Or I'll even call my mentor back home and be like, hey, like, I've got this. How would you approach going into this? And so just like again, having those touch points of like being able to call someone and having a different perspective is great.
Yeah. And that's what I love about FST community. It's like, we're all here to really help each other, but of course, help people to overcome their injuries or their chronic issues. And it's great. People who have years of experience, like, your mentor. Same myself. I've only been doing this since July, and I've only been finding level 3 practitioners. Some people have been doing this for 10 plus years, like yourself. And that's where I kind of lean into them, say, hey, help me guide along, or at least give me some tips so that I can overcome these obstacles that I'm facing with some of my clients, or even just doing business, dude. Like it's tough, but they've like I said, they've paved the way for you and I to kind of, do this type of work.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool, man. Well, I would love to have the audience, Joe, to, basically learn more about what you're doing, and of course, follow your journey along down in Nashville. So please feel free to share with the audience your social media handle, email, phone, website, or, just a way to get in contact with you to get a FSC session. So go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. So my Instagram handle is Average Joe's Stretching with 2 S's, one for stretching, one for Joe's, back to back. I'm trying to think, are there any numbers in there? I think it's just Average Joe Stretching for my Instagram. And then email is same thing, averagejoestretching@gmail.com. My number is 5719-0772. Feel free to shoot me a text, give me a call. It's also in my Instagram. So always open to talk. Honestly, unless I'm asleep, I'm always answering phone calls or texts. And honestly, I just love talking about it. I love talking about it.
Dude, and that's the best way to contact you, to text and to book a session, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, just wanted to make but yeah, so for those of you who want to either A, find a practitioner near you where you live, or B, become a practitioner like Joe and myself, please go to stretchtowin.com, where you can learn about this amazing modality that Chris and Ann Frederick have founded. They've been doing this for 30 plus years, in a minute, but have helped so many people, work with professional athletes, Olympians, you name it. They are the OGs of Fascia Stretch Therapy. And thanks, Joe, for hopping on to the Stretch to Go podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, man. It was awesome. I love telling the story and getting the word out there about FS.
Yeah, for sure. And those of you who are liking, subscribing, following, please do so on for the Stretch to Go podcast. We release podcast episodes every 7 a.m. on Fridays. But yeah, man, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Ian. Have a good one.
See ya.